So hi, is it okay, Mike? Everything beautiful, shaved? Okay, thank you. Danielle is here for this only. So hi everyone, glad to see so many faces that are new to Mindera. So brought this beautiful mustache and some hair to present you Mindera. So what is Mindera? If you thought of 5 friends eating a pizza on a couch or a table and thinking of how could they have fun while working, that is Mindera. That is how it started. 5 friends eating a pizza together, thinking how could they build something they would like to work while having fun and meeting new people they would like to be friends with or at least work with, and being proud of what they're doing at the end of the day. That's it. That's just it. Okay. Everything else that I'm going to say, it's meaningless. Okay. This is it. I could stop now, go away, and say thank you, everybody. You'd say that was the most beautiful guy you saw during the day. That was it. That was a wrap. Okay. But they told me that I would need to speak a little bit more. So okay, let's go. So why are you here? What are you looking for in, or what are you wanting to know about Mindera? For example, you.
I don't know. I just came here to hear some people.
Speaking about Mindera. So now the people here are thinking, wow, why did I came? Now the guy is going to start interacting with me. Why didn't I stay at home and just saw this through the internet? Yeah, this is it. Okay, I'm quite annoying. So, and you came here just for the food, right?
Yes.
Okay, food. Okay, food. And you for the party? You came for the party, the food, the lights? Okay. Okay, so normally Mindera is known for a couple of things. You've probably heard of self-organization. You probably heard that we're quite a few, reaching 900. You probably heard that we do some IT. We do some other stuff like parties. And we have some beautiful offices with some beautiful people. Some of them not, but sorry for that. So why is this a company that you are curious to get to know? That's something that I would also like to kind of understand. Okay, so why was I curious to know about Mindera? So how did I land it here? Okay, so a couple of friends were already working here, and they started talking about Mindera and kind of how they just didn't have managers, and this kind of looked like half communist, half anarchist, and nobody kind of, it seemed like nobody was in charge, and they had fun and they had parties, and they were like some of the best IT people that I known. So what was happening here? I was like, okay, this is, I was really thinking this was fluffy unicorn bullshit. Okay, the kind of thing that you receive whenever you go and visit a company. Okay, you go and they see this is the most beautiful company ever that you have ever seen. Okay, so they tell you that they have the best salary, the best people, not as beautiful as I do, but they're still quite beautiful, and they have the most amazing environment. You can have like, I don't know, a spaceship or pods where you can sleep. Okay, this is the kind of thing they sell you. So I was thinking, okay, this is the same. They're selling me just fluffy unicorn bullshit. I go there and then I kind of understand, okay, this is not kind of exactly what I was told. Then I came here and I decided, okay, let's try it out. I'm curious to see how this panned out. So I joined, and the first thing that I noticed is normally you have a manager that tells you what to do and what are the limits and what are the borders. So you have a clear defined role, okay, right? You are either a software engineer, whoa, suddenly you got right. You have a manager that tells you what to do in your tasks, and then you have your role. You're a software engineer, or you're a DevOps, or your operations, or you have a very specific role, and you should not go away from it. Okay, for example, if you're a software engineer, you shouldn't mess with your table position, or you shouldn't kind of mess with the furniture or change how the software release process is defined, because that's not your job, right? Have you experienced this? While you have like a very clear job. Yeah? Are you still alive? Okay. Yeah, that's normally happens. So what happens if you take out all of that and you don't have the borders? What happens if everything is everybody's job? What happens then? This was something that I was really curious about. So when I joined, and they told me, yeah, I could build my own table, I could build my own chair. I should actually do it to actually build it as I would like, and I could actually change the entire room, but I would still need to kind of speak with the team just to be sure that everybody was comfortable with it. So that's how it started. But I was like really kind of curious, like where does this end? So I'm a software engineer by core. Up until when can I kind of decide stuff? So can I hire someone? Can I just decide that we're going on a snow trip, everybody on the office? Because we have one now, right? So what if I decided, okay, tomorrow everybody's going to go on a snow trip? How does this happen? Normally on a normal company, how does this happen? You talk to the boss, but here you have not that clear structure. So here, instead of normally what you normally see is a pyramid, right? Where you have the CEO, the CTO, the CEO, the CEO, and then you have the middle management and the senior manager, the management, right? And then you have like the little ants that are the software engineers that actually build something, right? What if you take that structure away? How does it work? Who do you need to ask permission? Do you still need to ask permission? How do you know when to ask permission? That's were all things that I was really curious about and that I wanted to know more about. So I joined the company a few days before a snow trip, okay? Because I actually just wanted to come for the snow trip. So I came here for the snow trip. I went to the snow trip and I sat down next to one of the founders, one of the 5 founders, and asked, "Hey, where are the boundaries? How can I decide if I can actually do a never-ending snow trip?" Okay, because we have like a not defined number of days of holidays, right? We can define the number of holidays that we need and want. So why don't I just say that I'm going to go on holidays forever, going on a snow trip, and you need to pay me? How can I know all of that? Okay, this is a stupid question, but okay, you get the sense. Okay, so they told me, okay, Mindera has a very specific thing. We treat you like adults. Most of the companies thinks of you as children. Okay, children need to be told what to do, when to do it, and if it's good, the outcome or not. Adults don't need to do that, right? So you know if you have done something properly, if you have dressed properly, if you came here properly, if you have shaved properly, if you have done your work properly. If you don't, what do you do? If you don't know how to do something, what do? You ask someone, okay, around you. That's how humans interact, right? So why do we make the people around us at work children, where we need to tell them, okay, you need to do this at this time, this? They're adults, right? And if they can't work as adults, there's probably something wrong, right? So that's basically what she said. I treat you like adults, and you probably can know the difference when you can decide and when you can't. Do you think you can hire someone? And I was thinking, maybe not, because I cannot sign legally. Yeah, you're right. So you know, you are now aware of one of the boundaries. Legally, you cannot sign a contract, so you can't hire someone. But can you decide that we're going on a snow trip? Thinking, well, don't know. Can I? So then she told me, okay, what if we kind of brainstorm? We talked with a lot of people. We talked with the finance people to be aware of the costs. We talked about with each of the teams on the project to be aware of the impact of having people off the project. And we kind of see how many people would want to come, where would we go, and we brainstorm all that, have a cost model, and have a proposal and then decide that. Okay? And I was like, okay, this was unexpected. So normally when I tell people that, they say, okay, I mean that is a democracy. Okay, we vote and this is it. Do you think this is a democracy?
No, no, no.
Is it?
I think it's not at all.
Okay, so for those not hearing what people here are saying, they're saying probably not. Okay, and it's not a democracy. Okay, why is it not a democracy? Because there are legal boundaries, and we actually need to involve the people in decisions that are both impacted by it and have the most knowledge about it, right? So imagine that we were to decide if, I don't know, our salaries would be paid in a different way, and I would be like voting for that. Yeah, let's kind of vote for that, and we'll I don't know, pay in bitcoins. Okay, and let's start a vote. Let's pay everyone in bitcoins. Yeah, great. No taxes. Yeah. But do I know the implications of it? Do I have any awareness of legally what does that imply? Is it possible? I have zero knowledge of that. So am I the right person to take that decision? No. Should that decision be taken on a vote by a lot of people that have no idea if that is legally possible? Probably not. Can we kind of propose that? Yeah. Okay. So that's basically how I normally picture Mindera, is like a sea. Okay. You look at the sea by really far away, and it looks like everything is calm and everything is horizontal. Like normally people picture Mindera, everything is horizontal. You have no kind of structure. Okay. What actually happens is every time that you need to take a decision, there's a wave coming, and that wave is led by the people that have the most knowledge on that topic. And the top of the wave is the people that have the knowledge, can take the decision legally, and can kind of lead that. And the rest of the wave is everybody that is either impacted or interested in that. And then as the decision is taken, the wave just crashes and it goes back to the sea, because that's not a structure that is always in place, that was in place for that specific decision. That's kind of how this works. We're not flat. We just create specific hierarchies for each decision that needs to be taken. That's quite more interesting than actually having a common structure that decides everything, and the CEO or whoever decides everything, even if that impact doesn't impact him. Okay. So, you have questions for me? It can be, how am I so beautiful? I accept that. It normally comes up. No? So,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
What can happen in a company that don't get the most the most the most um, the most people with the knowledge that they need to make that a decision. They can take the role.
Do you mean by, so the decision process is not made in this way that I was telling? So someone decides something without being the person with the most knowledge of it. Okay, so if you're here, that's also your responsibility. If you see someone that you think is trying to decide something that does not make sense, it's your responsibility to go to the person and say, what are you doing? So this probably needs to, I don't know, if it's finance, speak with Frederico or Pedro, which are some of our financial geeks. If it's something related with hiring, maybe speak with Pedro, because Pedro is involved in the hiring process. So the way of working at Mindera is being human. So as in normal life. So when you are lost, you ask people. And normally what happens is when you join Mindera, you start to understand how this works by asking people around you on your team and so on. And this builds up. And this is how we kind of maintain the culture. So instead of being like, imagine I'm not here to kind of explain you how this works. So I'm not giving you details on how to make anything. I'm just kind of giving you the high level picture. So if you want to understand how this works, you need to live it. Okay? You need to go into a team and actually experience it and be lost. I was lost for 6 months. I was completely lost trying to understand how the hell does this company still exist. Okay, this is completely unstructured. This is crazy. There's no kind of adults in the room. And then I understood, okay, no. I was not used to be an adult on the room. Everyone is an adult on the room. I was just used to be a child. And kind of that's how you need to look at it. So there's no one with the clear responsibility of enforcing that. Everybody is in charge of enforcing that.
For how long are you here?
Almost 7 years. Okay. Probably the most crazy 7 years of my life, because let me explain you why I'm telling this. So I joined as a software engineer working on Android specifically, but I have one of the things. So as Pedro said, I like spices, but I also enjoy to learn a bit of everything. So when I joined, I started working on Android, started looking about Mindera. Then I started interested in the cultural part of Mindera. Then I started learning how to do culture interviews. Then I started to wonder about other things. So I started getting involved on the marketing campaigns and on the how do we actually get a client and kind of get from the get-go of knowing someone as a client and then building up something. And then I did that process that we call a sprint zero, which is when we go to a client and then explain how we would work with them, ways of working and so on. So I kind of spread everywhere, trying to absorb the most I could. And this was kind of a roller coaster, because every time that I feel comfortable, I kind of end up saying, okay, I need to learn something new, which is completely out of my comfort zone. And I go there. And this is something that is normally out of your reach. Okay, so normally you can't be a software engineer and work on the marketing campaign, or be a software engineer and do cultural interviews. That's the HR, right?
Yes.
So we don't have HR.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
So that's kind of it. Any other questions? How am I of time?
I think for me, you're good. I don't track time.
Yeah, that's kind of how I roll. So since everybody was doing slides and I just did a blank one, I was thinking, okay, I must do something just to kind of people think that I actually put some effort into this. So yeah, this is what normally happens. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, that's really nice. Bring on the real people. So you came here for some slides. Here are some slides, okay? So you came here, so you're probably interested in knowing more about Mindera. So you want to know Maslow's pyramid for a dream job, right? With some word art, because it's classic. Come on. Yeah, I don't know how you're not cheering for this. Come on. Thank you. I haven't put Clippy and so on, so this is hard stuff. So this is not what I'm doing. I read somewhere that if you're looking for a job and you want to keep it, you need to have 3 things, which is you need to be doing something that you like, you need to have a good culture and environment, and a good salary. Actually, if you just have 2 of them, you can still keep at that job. You're not very happy, but you still can keep at it. But if you have just 1 of them, well, it's game over. If you have 3, it's your dream job. But actually, who am I trying to fool? Okay, so this is not actually a triangle. It's a square. It's parties. Come on. I wouldn't be able to join any party like this anywhere else, like a Labrego style. It's one of, I don't know how many years ago it was this, but still the style was it was incredible, right? So why am I speaking about parties? So for a while, Mindera was also known by parties, but there's something actually more interesting on this, which is sometimes when you work for too long on a place, like I have been on Mindera, you start to take everything for granted, okay? And this is something that I don't see a lot of companies doing. So we are having a party soon, and when we're filling the form for a party, you can choose if you can bring +1, if you can bring the kids, and we actually bring the kids, the whole lot of kids that Pedro told, right? And they have fun here. My kids, one of my kids is actually proud that he actually came a lot of times to Mindera. He's saying that a lot, and one of the times he puked. So he wasn't drunk. Okay, he just got kind of sick on the car trip and then puked. Okay, just making that clear. So that's so if anybody's seeing from childcare, he wasn't drunk. Okay. Anyway, this is something that I didn't even thought of until I saw someone from Mindera that has joined recently sharing, saying, how great is this? And I was like, yeah, I have always taken that for granted, but that's not true. That's not true from my previous experience. I wouldn't feel as comfortable taking my family to my company as I'm here, okay? And also, I always try to keep this in mind as kind of the motto for this. You want to come to Mindera? Likes to be treated as an adult. Okay? And that's even so for my kids. So although not at my scale, but they know that they come here, then they shouldn't destroy stuff. They shouldn't throw people out the balcony, although they sometimes try. But that's kind of a principle that is spread into my life. Okay? And this is kind of an interesting thing, that a company can actually shape a little bit your life and kind of show you that there's better ways to live than what is more common. Okay? Any other questions?
What do you think is the best thing ever about Mindera?
What is so? I have to say me. So it's for the people that couldn't hear the question. The question was, what do I think is the best thing about Mindera? So me, of course, but you're probably saying what the second best thing about Mindera.
Sure.
Okay. So I think it's the freedom that you are given, okay, and the freedom not only to act as an adult and kind of interact and be human and kind of not having someone boss you around, but also to go into your normally when we speak about career path, we speak normally about salary and title and kind of those things. So we have no titles here. And the reason why that is, it's because a title limits your what you actually do. So you actually are free to, within reasonable patterns, explore, and instead of being just a software engineer, learn cultural interviews and go and do some marketing campaigns and take some pictures and come and say some stupid stuff at an open day like I do. And kind of one thing, when I was preparing this, I actually prepared this, okay? When I was preparing this, I was thinking about the last time that I was representing a company within kind of an open day or something like that was not Mindera. At that time, I had the CEO reviewing my slides and say, okay, you need to take that out, okay? And in this slide, you need to say this, like, okay, is that done? Yeah, I think you can probably do this. While here, I was just putting a mustache of Freddie Mercury with his arm with kind of some hair on his armpit and making a blank slide and thinking, well, this is going to be a roller coaster. I have no idea how this is going to pan out because I'm just interested on the reactions of the people that are around me and on their questions. I'm not interested on sharing some fluffy bullshit. So that's it.
And what's the worst?
I think when you join, that's a really heavy shock. Okay, I felt that kind of. You can feel a little bit lost. Okay, because you're normally used to the structure, and even while you're here, if you don't try to understand how things work, that can be a little bit strange because you don't understand how decisions are taken. You don't understand. So why do we have a cultural interview? What does that work for? There are probably some people still at Mindera that don't fully understand some of the questions that we do at the cultural interview sometimes. So you need to be proactive. Again, you need to be an adult. There's nobody who's gonna sit down with you and say, okay, sit here, I'm gonna explain you life. Okay? That's not how life works. Neither Mindera. Anything else? No? Okay.